Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining me. The topic of today's video is chord inversions. Hey, I thought it would be useful to maybe look at this in a diagramic in a written format. I'm sure some people would like this. So I've got three columns here. They're the same thing. The natural notes, I thought miss off the sharps and flats just to keep it nice and uncluttered, if you like. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's all natural notes starting on A, going across 2 octaves, which is actually the A minor scale as it happens. So we've got... Okay, now what I've done here is I've highlighted in orange A, C, E. A, C, E is the spelling of A minor, root, flat 3 and 5. So A minor, A, C, E, that's what I'm showing here in the first column. And you can see if I take the A and move it up an octave, that's what we have in the second column. And interestingly enough, it changes the intervals between the notes, which we'll not mention anything about at the moment, or any more about at the moment. So here we have C, E, A. 3 same notes, but different order. And again, take the C, pop it up an octave, and here we have our second inversion, E, A, C, which is... So first column, second column, third column. Hope that helps make sense of it all. Demonstration of how inversions can be found across all strings, even though I'm just wanting to focus on the second, the third and fourth today. If we just take our normal open G chord, one of the first things a lot of us learn. So if we just look at the 6th string, the 5th string and the 4th string. On the 6th string, that's our 1. On the 5th string, that's our 3. And the open 4th string gives us our 5. Root position. So now if we start on the 5th string, then play the 4th and 3rd open, we've got our 3rd, 5th and root. So that's first inversion. And then when I just have my 4th, 3rd and 2nd open, that's third inversion, where on my 4th string I've got my 5th, on my 3rd string I've got my root, and on the 2nd string I've got my 3rd, my major 3rd. So that's 3 inversions from this, and we're simply focusing on the 4th, 3rd and 2nd strings for this video. So let's just listen to them, okay? This is a G. So imagine you can tell, hey, that they're the same, but they're not the same. They're getting higher. They also have a slightly different quality. Our bass note is changing. In fact, the order of it's the same 3 notes, but they're changing. So this first one comes from this G bar chord. Well, I say it comes from, but you may be more familiar with that. And if I look at just where my 4th string, 3rd string and 2nd strings are, we've got that. And that's my 1st, my 3rd and my 5th from my major scale. 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. So our first inversion, pardon me, has our deepest note. 1, 2, 3. So now my 3rd is in the bass, then I've got my 5th, and my root is now an octave higher than it was. Now, a 3rd up from my third, a minor third up, sorry, from my third is my fifth. And this is my second inversion. I've got my fifth, then my root, then my third. That comes from an A-type bar chord. So let's just take a brief moment to look at where this comes from, because it might not make sense, immediate sense. If I barred that, and put my fingers like that though, you may be able to see, oh yes, that's a C bar chord. Just as our major inversions come from E-type, A-type and C-type bar chords. When I say come from, kinda. It's a good way to relate to them in that you might then be able to more easily identify where they are. It's exactly the same with the minors. So we have a minor, that's an A minor. I'm at the 5th fret at the moment. So if I just look at what the 4th string, the 3rd string and the 2nd string are doing. Got 7th fret, 5th fret, 5th fret. That's root. That's my A, that's my root. My minor 3rd and my 5th. So that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, flat 3, 1, 3, 5 is what we've got there. So now in the bass we want to go up and have our minor 3rd in the bass. 1, 2, 3, as in flat 3. This shape may not be obvious to you that this is minor. Okay, see where my fingers are there? So I'll come back in a moment to explain that better. Just let me briefly wrap this by saying, okay, minor chord goes up a minor 3rd and then a major 3rd. So I go up here for a major 3rd. And now, fingers are crammed in a bit. That's my second inversion, and it comes from this sort of A minor bar chord shape. Let's just go back to that last shape. Let me explain it, say, with a... I mean, it's still a C. You see, it's still a C-type bar chord. Now, everyone knows C like that. Well, I say everyone, but it's likely you know C like that. That's the root, the major 3rd, and the open 3rd string is the 5th. So I can just go with those 3. 5th string, root, 4th string, 3, and open 3rd string, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I want to make that minor, this 3rd has got to be flattened. Now, if I do that and I bring my root back in, you know, when you play a C, you have a C there. That, not many people will play C minor like that. I can't strum it because the open E's aren't in the chord, but it's really difficult on the fingers. Now, if we just take this part of it, 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string, then that is, in fact, the shape we've got that I'm showing you here. Another way to relate to it, try and help you get it in your head by giving you a couple of examples of how to relate to it. You may well know we've got D major and we've got D minor. If you take that note there, that's an F. Think of F. We've got the F there. So when I play that, that's my 5th, my root, and my minor 3rd for D minor. And when I go like that, I've moved my minor 3rd to the 4th string. That's still the 5th, and that's the root. So that's how that's a minor. And final way to express it to you is that when we have 7th chords, we've got chords within chords. So if you look at a C major 7, it's actually an E minor with a C in the bass. It may be more obvious to you if I give you an example of a G major 7. So there's a G major 7. Well, you can probably see that that is a B minor. So a B minor over G is a G major 7. So to recap, we have 3 major chords. We have the root, first inversion and second inversion. Same with the minor chords, root, first inversion and second inversion. I'd like to briefly run through what I've been doing with my right hand. I've got my thumb on the 4th string, my index finger on the 3rd string, and my middle finger on the 2nd string. I'm doing a pinch, and what I'm doing, if you think of, I mean, it depends where the drums are, whether this is 1E and a 2E and a, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, but I think it's easier to understand if you think of it in terms of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So think we have a bass drum and a snare, bass, snare, boom, boom, ch, boom, ch, boom, ch. Then we're tapping the strings for the 2 and the 4, like the snare, bass and snare, bass, snare, but do do do, boom, ching, ga boom boom ching. So I'm either just going pinch, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Or I might be going and 3 and. So doing all of those strings, 4th, 3rd, 2nd. Or I might do 2 pinches. And in fact, I'm pinching all 3 and then just following up with just those 2 fingers on the 3rd and 2nd string. And it works well. You know, I really encourage you to get this going, and you can do it on lots of strings. It doesn't have to be just on 3. Hope that helped. In conclusion, inversions are really very versatile. They're really handy because wherever you are in any key, within a couple of frets is an inversion of the chord you want next. So they're versatile. They're add interest, because if you listen to that version I played at the beginning, it's far more interesting than just playing the same 6 open chords. Speaking of that, I'm going to tab it out now. I'm not going to tab it out with all the picking. I'm just going to do block chords to show you what I played. I'm recording 100 videos in 100 days, one every single day. I deeply appreciate your support. Like, comment, share. And please do put me on your list of considerations if you're thinking of getting guitar lessons. One-on-one, if you're fortunate to live in the Lake District or North Lancashire, you can come for face-to-face here in my studio. I teach over Zoom, so I've been teaching over the internet, probably 15 years, so I'm used to doing that, very comfortable with it. I also do a group every week, and that works out at £7 for a 2-hour session, $10. So that may suit. That's it for today. Hope you'll join me tomorrow. Tap to follow. Take care.